So in Luke chapter 2, we find a group of guys, shepherds, who are living in a field, who are watching their flocks at night. And all of a sudden, an angel shows up. And it says the glory of God shone all around him. And the shepherds, they were petrified. But the angel says to them, "Do not be afraid. I bring you good news that's going to cause great joy for all people. In the town of David, a Savior has been born, the Messiah, and he's going to be the Lord of all." And ever since that moment, this idea of joy and Christmas, where we celebrate our Messiah being born, Jesus, they go hand in hand. And joy is everywhere at Christmas time. Joy's on billboards, it's on signs, it's in magazines. Our kids are coming home and they're like coloring joy and there's glitter everywhere. It's everywhere, not just glitter, joy. Glitter too though. It's everywhere. But this year's been really hard, hasn't it? I mean, there's political unrest, there's racial issues, and we have this global pandemic that's just affecting all of us in major ways. Is it even okay to be joyful this year? Like, should I be joyful? I mean, some good things have happened this year. Some really good things have happened. And I've kind of felt like maybe I should keep those quiet. Is it okay to be excited and happy and joyful about things that are going on when there's so much hurt around us? But Christmas is so joyful of a season normally. And so I've just been wrestling with that, and maybe you have too. And I think part of the problem is that we confuse the word joy with happy. See, joyful and joy, they're not the same thing as happy and happiness. Happy and happiness, that's circumstantial. That's all about what's happening to us. But joy is bigger than that. And we know that because we can look in the book of James. James, the brother of Jesus, he writes in the first chapter, verse 2, he says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers, whenever you face trials of many kinds." Consider it joy when you face trials of many kinds. I mean, if that doesn't sound like 2020, I don't know what does. That should be the byline of 2020. 2020, the year of trials of many kinds. And so, yet James says to have joy. So joy and happiness are not the same things. We get happy about getting a good parking space. We get happy about maybe getting a raise or, just really all sorts of things. But joy is beyond that. Joy is so big that it can, yes, include happiness, but it can also include sadness, and it can include depression and mourning. Joy is the perfect word for 2020, and it's the perfect word for this year. Because we go back to the shepherds in the field who are in terrible circumstances. They're living in a field, they're watching sheep, which was not a good job back then. And the angel shows up and says, "We're bringing you great joy, this good news." Nothing about their circumstances changed, but everything about their state of being has changed. And that's what joy is. When we read in the Bible the word joy, when we read in the New Testament the word joy, it basically means knowing that no matter what happens, no matter what circumstance we come up against, no matter good or bad, that there's a safety net underneath us. And so the world can basically go up in flames, and yet we can still have joy as Christians because a Savior has come to us. A Savior who is going to bring forgiveness for all. And so maybe this year, more than any other, we should have joy. As a Christian, maybe we should be so joyful that when people come up against us and they think, "Listen, what's wrong with you? It seems like you're very happy." You can say, "Well, listen, I'm not happy, but I am joyful." And you have the opportunity to share with them the good news that is going to bring great joy to all people in the same way the angel did for those shepherds. You get to be a messenger of the good news that brings great joy this year.